The story of Job, a man who was tested by losing his possessions, his children, and almost his life. A man who was in the middle of a cosmic battle between good and evil, Satan versus our Creator. But is this the Satan in Job? Is the Satan as we know today? Is this the Satan who's the arch nemesis of our Creator? Is this the same Satan who fell from heaven? Or is this another? Or does the word Satan mean something else? I seek to explain another perspective that is relatively unique and intriguing. This would not be a commentary of the book of Job, but giving analysis of the name Satan or Satan. And what does that tells us about the testing of Job. Hopefully you like the introduction, and hopefully you can sit down, listen to, and just think about the book of Job and see who this Satan figure is. Join me as I go along discussing what I find to be interesting. There is a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and the man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. There were born to him 7 sons, 3 daughters. He possessed 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and very many servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the east. His sons used to go and hold a feast in the house of each one on his day, and they would send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And when the days of the feast had run their course, Job would send and consecrate them, and he would rise early in the morning, offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may that be, my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Thus Job did continually. So we see that Job has this perfect an ideal life. He wasn't morally crooked, but he was morally upright, righteous before the Lord. But not only that, he had riches, he had a huge family, he has possession, he had wealth, he had everything going for himself, something that we would love to live a life. But him having all of that will soon change when we're introduced to a heavenly courtroom mentioned in the scriptures. We kind of see this depiction going throughout the Hebrew Bible, whereas there's a heavenly courtroom where the sons of God are before the Lord, which we see many times, like I've stated. Now I want to read this heavenly courtroom in Job chapter 1, verse 6 to 12. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. The Lord said to Satan, "From where have you come?" Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down on it." And the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for no reason? Have you not put a hedge around him and his house and all he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face." And the Lord said to Satan, "Behold, all that he has is in your hand. Only against him do not stretch out your hand." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. So you see the places that we have Satan. You will have some translations that will put the in front of the Satan. And let's just read the in front of the Satan before we give an explanation why. Job chapter 1, verse 6 to 12 again. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and the Satan, or Satan, also came among them. The Lord said to the Satan, "From where have you come?" The Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down on it." And the Lord said to the Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and turns away from evil?" Then the Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for no reason? Have you not put a hedge around him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands. His possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face. And the Lord said to the Satan, behold, all that he has is in your hand. Only against him do not stretch out your hand. So the Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. What I've learned by doing my due diligence and understanding the Bible, in front of Satan, you got ha. And it's just the definite article, which is the English word the. So the ha Satan would mean the accuser or the adversary. So it won't be a proper name, but someone who's in a role of being an adversary or an accuser. He would be a heavenly prosecutor in God's courtroom. Something so interesting and yet so different that could really shift the meaning of the testing of Job is that the Satan would be doing his job, his work, his occupation, roaming the earth and searching to accuse someone of sin. And the Lord brags about his servant Job by saying, there is none like this man, that he is one of a kind. He does what's right and he fears me and turn away from every evil. But the Satan brings a question to God, saying, the reason Job fears you is because you have provided him everything and have given him a surplus of that. The accuser presents a compelling case. He doubled that any person would fear God for nothing or without reason. The Satan question insinuates that all good deeds spring from selfish motives, which is a question that needs to be asked because it's an insightful question. Can humans serve God if he doesn't do anything for them with any blessings? Could they serve God out of the loving kindness of their heart? But then we are introduced to the second heavenly courtroom where the Satan brings another accusation saying that Job would do anything for his life. So what's the point of Job? Well, that's for